Hi, I'm Elaine and my website is countryhomeandheart.net, and today I'm going to be making a cake a little bit later on in my tube pan. And I always like to line my tube pan with parchment paper to make sure that I don't have any issue with getting my cakes out of the pan, because we've all had that happen where we try to take our cake out of the pan and we turn it up and next thing you know you just got a mess. So I'm going to show you an easy way to line your pan with parchment paper. So what I've done, I have taken my tube pan and I have put Crisco on the inside of it, and I've just got it greased good so that it will act as a glue to kind of hold my parchment paper in place while I'm working with it. Now you notice with your tube pans, the side of it is angled up this way at an angle, so they're not straight, so we can't cut our paper straight. If we do, it just will not fit in there correctly. So this is the way I do it as far as getting my pan lined good with parchment paper. So I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to turn it on its side like that. And what I want to do is take a sharp pencil. You're going to need a pencil that will also reach down inside. So I have my sharp pencil, I have my scissors, and what I'm going to do first is just make a straight line on the bottom, and I'm just going to roll my pan along and keep that line as straight as I can, and just roll that pan along the bottom like that. Okay, now I have that. Now what I did first, I meant to say this and I forgot. What I did first is I took my parchment paper out of the box and I measured about halfway to the halfway point around the pan, folded the paper in half, and then I'm just going to cut them both out at one time. Okay, so now we have our straight line, and I'm going to turn this over now. And I'm going to follow along that line, and I'm going to roll my pan along, and I'm going to be very careful to make sure that my pan stays as close as possible to that line. And I'm going to just roll this along. And what this is going to do is this is going to follow the curve of the pan and the angle of the pan, so that when I start cutting this, when I cut this paper and start using it, it's going to follow the pan angle. Okay, whoops, sorry about that. Okay, and this probably should have gone down a little bit more. Okay, so you see here that I have a straight line at the bottom where I did the bottom of the pan, and I have the line on top is kind of curved, so it will follow the angle of the pan. Okay, now I'm just going to cut these out, and I'm going to cut my straight line on the bottom. Okay. And here's the other part. I'm going to keep that together. And I'm going to follow the line as close as I can that I drew. Okay. Out of the way. Okay, now I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to put this parchment paper, the flat side, the side that I cut for the bottom, is going to go in first. And I'm just going to put that parchment paper right in there on the bottom. Bringing this down. Now you're always going to have a little part like on the top where it doesn't want to lay. So what I do is I just kind of push it down in there. And then I'll take my scissors and just make a little clip, and that'll usually let me spread it out the way I need to get it down in there, to get it to lay flat on the sides. And it's also going to help it lay flat when I go to grease the inside of it, because we still have to put Crisco down on the inside of the pan. Okay, so there's that side. Now, I don't need quite as much as I have, so I'm going to cut part of this. Cut part of that off and just bring that into. Okay, and there you go. Okay. And I have my little part here that I cut, so I'm going to just take a little bit more parchment paper on there and stick down in there so it doesn't, so I don't have a problem in that spot with the cake sticking. So, and we shouldn't, it should be just fine. Okay, so now to do the next part, we're going to do the bottom next, and I'm going to unroll this and set my cake pan on top of it. And what you want to do is hold it as steady as you can and just draw your line, draw a circle around that, right around that pan. Okay, and then keeping it in the same spot, I'm going to put my pencil down inside the tube and just draw a circle around it. So I have, this is what I have. Okay, and now I'm going to fold this in half and line up my marks as closely as I can line them up, and that way I can cut both sides at the same time. I don't have to go completely around the circle. Okay, and I'm going to cut this out. And then I'm going to cut the little center part out. Okay. And I'm going to place that, move this out of the way, and I'm going to bring my pan over here. And I'm going to place that down inside and bring those sides up around the pan like that. Okay. Now I'm not going to do too much with the inside, the cone part, because I can always run a knife down there to loosen my cake once it has come out of the oven, and that won't, so that's not going to stick anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that in, and there we go. So now I'm going to take some flour. I'm going to pick some more Crisco, and I'm going to grease the inside of this first. So let me do that, and we're going to grease the inside of this with Crisco, which can be easier said than done, I promise. But so we're just going to do that like you would if you didn't have the paper on it, and we're going to bring that around. Okay, a little more Crisco. What this will do is this will keep the outside of the cake from drying out and getting hard if you go ahead and grease and flour this like you ordinarily would. Okay, and we're going to do this part. Here. See, that's helping to keep that parchment paper down like I want it to, stay down. So just a little more on this side, and I think we're going to have it. Bring that back in there like I want it. So, all right. Okay, so there it is lined. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and grab my flour. Okay. This is just all-purpose flour, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spoonful, and this is how I'm going to flour the inside of the pan. I'm just going to take a spoonful, and I'm going to tap right alongside that cone. Okay. And now I'm going to just kind of swirl this around and get the inside of this coated really well. Okay, and I'm going to take it to the sink to finish this off, and I'm just going to take it and dump it around there. Okay, and we have a lined tube pan that I can start baking my cake with. So I will start the cake shortly and we will be back. Thanks for watching.